until it gets to the dog whistle communication.
Right.
Which
that's pretty much the end of Act 2.
Yeah. And I like that Lex was able to communicate that way. I thought it was pretty smart.
Yeah, it's always been a pretty slick move by Lex.
And then we get to the vanishing clothes as he flies out the window.
Yeah.
Oh, and the chief is talking to him, and he just sidetracks it out of there.
Right.
Poor guy.
Meanwhile, Lois is, out in the desert talking to a Native American chief who's, recently sold some land to some mystery. I like that it all connects back to Lex. I mean, I like that, she's there investigating some, real estate fraud, which is just Lex, So I like that it's connected.
Yeah, essentially he's buying up land that's worthless at crazy prices.
Right.
Which I find odd. I thought he'd try to get it cheap.
Well, he did get it cheap.
But didn't he say that I'd sell it with the crazy prices he's paying or something?
Well, his whole plan is to buy it insanely cheap because it's just worthless desert. And then once it's coastline, then he'll sell it for, crazy high prices.
I guess he's just saying that it's crazy amount of money for what the land is, maybe, then.
Yeah.
That's the Native American guy was saying that he paid some crazy amount of money.
Oh, yeah, he does say the word crazy stupid.
Yeah. So that's the part that threw me off, because maybe he's just saying it's stupid to pay what he paid for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
But maybe it wasn't a lot.
Yeah. I think it's just perspective. I think to Lex, he bought useless land for what he could afford, which was way more than what the chief guy thought the land was worth, So essentially, Lex got a deal because he bought, apparently he's, got tons of money.
Yeah.
So he can afford to buy up all this land. And then from the chief's perspective, he made a killing off of worthless land. So
yeah, I'm guessing that's probably it. It leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
The showdown where Superman drills into the street because he couldn't go down a manhole cover.
Yeah. Just some,
a jerk.
Disregard that property damage.
Yeah, and
which reminds me.
Yeah.
Whose job is it to remove a boat from the middle of, Times Square? Come on, Superman. You're just creating more problems.
Thanks a lot, Soups.
Yeah. You asshole.
And that scene with the boat also gave you the traditional drunken Irishman cop.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, it gets to the scene where he drills down, and then Lex is testing him with the unveiling of bullets and fire,
the gauntlet.
ice, and the whole time, there was that green light in the when he drilled down. So I thought he had the kryptonite there.
Oh,
because there was a weird green light, showing through some kind of shaft of light coming through that was green.
Huh. So I've never noticed that.
I thought that was kryptonite, and he was going to straight up murder him.
Right. Yeah.
But that was not the case.
Yeah, because he definitely wanted him to get to make his way all the way, but just wanted to, I guess, test him and just find out.
Yeah. I think it was just...
Or just...
Yeah, you go.
I was just... Probably really just to annoy... He wanted Superman to be, pissed off when he arrived.
Okay. See, I thought of it a little differently. I thought he was trying to learn as much as he could by testing, all these different elements out, so that if things didn't go well, he had, some kind of, the ice seemed to slow him down at least, or everything else had absolutely no effect. But
yeah,
I was surprised the ice did anything though.
I know,
and
I kept waiting for. Yeah. I kept waiting for some heat vision that I didn't realize that he never uses in this movie.
I don't think I realized that until I saw the new trailer on TV for the new movie.
Okay.
And I saw him blast the heat vision. I was wait, he didn't even use his.
Yeah, I know he...
Weird X-ray vision thing.
Yeah.
When he looked at
I'm pretty sure he uses it in the second movie.
Yeah, I know he uses it at one point because I remember seeing it, but
Yeah.
and the third one's the one with the sun guy, right?
No, that's the fourth one.
Oh, it is.
The third one's with Richard Pryor, and a weird like computer villain at the end. It's real weird.
Okay. I don't know why I thought. I think 3 and 4 combined in my head.
See, and 4 is probably the one I saw the most as a kid because Channel 4 would run Superman 4 every weekend, it seemed like. So I watched that one a lot.
That's the one with the nukes and the new supervillain.
Right.
Yeah. Yeesh. Yeah, that was very Flash Gordon looking.
Yeah.
I remember the guy looking like Flash Gordon for some reason.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so we're closing in. He finally busts down the big vault door.
Yeah.
And Otis's scenes come up right about now for me.
Okay.
My favorite by far is when Lex tells him to get Superman's cape.
Oh, okay.
And he goes over there to get it, and then he turns back and he's like, I don't think he wants me to take it.
My attorney will be in touch with you about the damage to the door. Otis, take the gentleman's cape.
I don't think he wants me to, Mr. Luthor.
All right, Luthor, where's the gas pellet?
I just love the
that
fact
is a good one.
that he just went over there and I just loved it.
Yeah.
It was subtle and stupid. I thoroughly enjoyed that. His face was just phenomenal.
Yeah. One of my favorite Otis moments was earlier when when Otis first arrives in the Lex's lair. Lex goes, "You were followed again, Otis," and he just turns around. It's just a great little, simple character move. Like he just looks around as if he literally meant that he was followed in the room. Just a great little. I love the Lex and Otis. Dynamic.
Hackman was awesome when he lost it. And was like, "You want a long arm?
We'll show you a very long arm."
I just love that.
I did too.
But yeah, that was my favorite Otis moment.
Okay. I figured it was the same one I had, so I'm kind of glad that it's not.
Yeah.
So we'll get there in a minute. But once he's in the room and they're face to face, that's another one of those, like, it's kind of like the interview scene with Superman and Lois Lane. Like, this scene, just the two of them, it's not physical. It's just kind of
a battle of wits.
Yeah, kind of. It's just one of those great scenes.
As far as I can tell, Superman comes off as pretty smart.
Yeah, and he is a very intelligent person.
I mean, it doesn't always seem like that because Batman's supposed to be the smart one.
Right.
And Superman relies too much on his strength to figure things out.
Yeah.
Historically, from what I've seen, but
yeah,
he seems to be more willing to talk things out in this movie.
But I like that he understands Lex's scheme, and he obviously condemns him for it, but he understands what he's doing, not why, but
yeah, because he tricks him there by saying he's got like a gas pellet.
Right, that's true.
It's gonna poison half the city or something.
Yeah,
and Superman says something like, "Is this just how your twisted mind works?" Because he just had it.
You get your kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just had it in the back of his head, is what he said when he asked for where the pellet was. He's like, "Oh, it's just in the back of my mind."
Yeah.
I thought that was a fun little banter.
I did too, yeah.
So he gets to a giant map, like from Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Right.
The TV show, for those listening at home.
Yep.
Which I like that he had like visual aids, and he was so.
I do too. I love it. I absolutely love it. I like. This is one of my favorite Otis moments.
Oh, yeah.
Is when he lays down the map and it's got Otisburg. He's reading off the list. Casa de Lex, Lexville, whatever. Otisburg. And I like that Otis is like, Miss Tessmacher gets a little place. Like, it's just a little teeny tiny place.
Costa del Lex, Lutherville, Marina del Lex, Otisburg. Otisburg?
Miss Tessmacher, she's got her own place, Mr.
Otisburg?
It's a little bitty place.
Otisburg?
Okay, I just wipe it off. That's all. It's a little town.
And the fact that he wrote it with like a marker. Like,
I know.
He just like wrote it on there. And he's like trying to wipe it away.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's one of my favorite Otis Lex moments, just hands down. I love that moment. Because it's like, while Lex is trying to look, impressive in front of Superman, and he's got Otis just...
He's like, kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's the best. At some point here, we've got the missiles have launched.
Yeah.
And we get some interesting little, not even cameos really, they're just interesting actors that they chose for some of the roles. You got John Ratzenberger, Cliff Clavin from Cheers, is one of like the techs. He's going to pop up in a couple more movies. And then you've got Phil Brown, who's Uncle Owen from Star Wars.
Yeah.
He's like senator. He's in the bunker, kind of one of those.
Gotcha. Alrighty, so we just got done with Otisburg.
Otisburg, yep.
And the missiles launched and the cameos.
Yeah. I like the cat and mouse with Lex saying there's a, he's got a detonator and that he's hidden it, and that leads into the, Superman searching through the office, with his X-ray vision, and then obviously finds the kryptonite. So I like how Gene Hackman plays Lex as he looks like he's just slimy and but he's planned all this. Like, it was his intention for Superman to he actually gives himself away by looking towards his desk. Yeah. Which is what leads Superman to scan, and it's like it looks like he's weaselly and slimy, but it's all part of this performance that he's, I don't know, just like Christopher Reeve, Yeah. Like Gene Hackman is equally brilliant, in this role.
Yeah, it's he's sort of playing like a sleazy real estate guy.
Yeah.
Essentially. And a sort of like a matchstick man, like con man.
Right. Yeah, he's a snake oil salesman.
Yeah, essentially.
He's a swindler. He's a shyster.
He's like an Old West villain.
Yeah.
But I guess the Old West wasn't that old when Superman and Lex Luthor got created.
Yeah.
What was it? There was I like the he pulls a Bond villain move where he just gets the kryptonite on Superman and pushes him into the water.
Yeah.
And then just goes, moving on.
I'm not going to stay around to watch you die. I'm going to go ahead and...
I've never seen this actually work on a Kryptonian, but I'm going to assume everything's going to go according to plan.
Yeah.
So, does a little Bond villain move on that one, but...
Yeah.
It leads to epic betrayal.
Oh, yeah.
Where we find out that Lex is going to blow up her mom's home.
Yeah, and that's like...
so stupid.
It is, and it's definitely, like, just a dick move. Like, and I guess that goes back to is that the rocket that was just happened, just coincidentally, ended up going to where her mother lives, or...
Yeah, that seems odd that it would be... Plus, that's way too close to them.
That's true.
Like, New Jersey's not that far. Well, I guess it's... Who knows where Metropolis is, but...
I think, because they obviously use New York as as Metropolis, I think in this movie, Metropolis is just New York. Okay. That's how I see it. Like, there never was a New York. New York was always Metropolis.
Okay.
It would make sense with having the Statue of Liberty there and, all the other iconic buildings that we kind of see.
Yeah, so New Jersey seems like it's a little too close to be...
That's a good point, yeah.
Shooting a missile to... granted, he's underground, I guess, so...
Yeah, but I love how cold Lex is when she's like, but my mother lives in Hackensack, and he just looks at his watch like, not anymore,
Yeah.
or basically telling her that she's only going to live there for another, 5 more minutes, or, it's just so cold and so, it's so evil, that he doesn't care one way or the other about, someone she cares about.
Yeah, but for a smart guy, that was still a stupid move.
Sure.
I mean, that's just asking for somebody to betray you.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll let my mom die.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. But, I mean, he could have chosen, D.C. or, somewhere that would really have an impact. He chose Hackensack, New Jersey.
That's right. I don't know, maybe it was just the randomness of Otis's mistake, and it just happens that's where she was, her mother lives, I guess.
Well, then he should have been like, well, blame Otis.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
I think her sadness is from the fact that he won't stop it, knowing where it's going.
Yeah.
And he's unwilling to,
Well, he's not going to stop his plans when
right.
He's already invested all this money.
Yeah, so ultimately that's what causes her to, switch sides. But I do like that, I like that Superman has to make a deal in order to get out of the situation. She's not willing just to be fully good. He has to do something for her first. So I like that reasoning of.
Yeah, made sense.
Yeah.
I forgot about one section I liked.
Okay.
When Superman drops into the gauntlet, Lex asks her what she sees, and she's like, "Ooh, he's handsome. He's got dimples." He's like, "Yeah, I'll show you dimples." And then
right.
he unloads the machine gun.
Yeah,
I love that little sequence. I don't know. I like that a lot. Because she's openly defiant to him.
Right.
She's not. Oh, Lex, you're the only man for me, or something like that.
Well, that's why, I go back to that, when he says, you know what my father said to me, and she's like, get out.
Yeah.
Just, I love that interaction that they have. She's just, she's sassy, or whatever. She gives him shit every chance she gets.
Yeah, you don't see that too often with Lex.
Right.
At least not in the iterations I've seen before.
Right.
So yeah, he says he'll save Mommy first.
Right.
So he's, cutting it close, trying to stop that one, and then get all the way over to the West Coast.
Yeah, because he's in space essentially when he's throwing the Hackensack rocket, out into space.
Which I didn't get why he didn't just throw it into space.
Yeah.
Why did he have to fly the damn thing up there and stick his
Right.
head into the flames of the rocket?
Yeah.
It's like, not even a hair out of place.
No?
That's how strong he is. But yeah, I mean, holy hell. We're getting into the part that is just that probably angered more people than anything.
Probably, but I mean, we got
so much to go still.
Yeah, I mean, this part, obviously, the other missile, detonates, hits the San Andreas fault line, and then we get the little not a montage, but another sequence of events. The earthquake, the random destruction and all that stuff that we get. Most of it's really good. A lot of miniature work and a lot of other effects used, but the bridge scene,
that's pretty good,
is amazing because when I was watching it, I was like, it looks like they've used the real Golden Gate Bridge and snapped the cables and but apparently they used a miniature that was 70 feet long and 20 feet wide. So, as far as miniatures goes, that's a good scale, so you can get a lot of that detail of the thin white cables and the bus miniature and all that stuff. So it's totally works. I think all around the earthquake sequence holds up.
The only part I was kind of weird about was him flying around underneath the ground.
Yeah, that's one of mine that I had as far as not really holding up. It just kind of looks like he's swimming under the earth.
Yeah, I was like trying to figure out what he was gonna do, and
yeah,
he seals it back up somehow.
I guess, yeah, it's kind of weird, like seeing him, flying around underneath the earth, and
I figured that would just make it worse.
I like the what's that?
I thought that would just make it worse.
Right. I do like the moment where he's like actually lifting part of the crust or whatever.
Yeah.
Back up into place. So yeah, let's see.
There's like random shots of Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
He really didn't need to be there at all.
Not at all. No.
It was just, I don't know, it was weird.
Just another person to be in danger. Yeah.
Just another person to keep him from Lois.
Right. And then you had the the little town that was getting flooded by, or was in danger of being flooded by the dam.
Yeah. That was a weird effect.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they use miniatures, obviously, but it's like some of it's kind of cool, but it's just one of those that, miniatures of that kind of scale, it's just, anytime you got water involved, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. I thought it looked cool when he pushed the initial set of rocks.
Yes. Yeah, that looks real.
That looks pretty good, but once they're all piling up and then the water comes, Yeah,
they're just pebbles.
Yeah, essentially. I was like, that's not going to stop it.
Yeah. So I guess now we're pretty much at the point where Lois has, basically gotten herself in danger, and I
didn't understand the gas station scene.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like, it seems like she doesn't know what's going on when she drives away.
Yeah.
And the station explodes, and she just seems like, where'd that come from? Like, what? It's like she doesn't realize that there's an earthquake going on around her.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're in a car, you should be able to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, with something that massive.
Yeah.
But it was weird, like, she honked her horn, so nobody was there? Is that because she ran out of gas?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, I never quite understand what's happening there, because, she honks for a gas station attendant, and the next thing we see, she's driving away, so it's like, did she get gas?
Apparently not.
Oh, that's right, because she does show that she's out of gas. Yeah, that's right.
So,
I don't know. It's bizarre.
They just wanted to blow up the gas station, I think.
Yeah. Well, they had to have a sequence of events that leads to, like, the telephone poles falling over.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we're pretty much at the the end of the movie. Probably the most controversial part,
Yeah, I bet the internet would have exploded if it was around back then.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Because it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy Rage-Face Superman.
I do, too. He sells the hell out of her death.
I was like, you just met her.
Right? Yeah. No, I like how, you expect him just to rage out a lot sooner than he does, so you do get it slows down for a minute, like he has a little bit more time with her. He lays her down, it's very calm and quiet, and then out of nowhere he's just flips out. But it's still a powerful, moment.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go after Lex.
Yeah.
But he decided to do something else.
He went a different route.
This has to be from the comic books.
I don't know. I don't know what the inspiration for...
Just what the hell did this come from?
I don't know. Well, actually, I kind of do know. Because Superman 1 and 2 were filmed back-to-back, the turning back time was meant to be the end of Superman 2 as a solution for Lois finding out who Superman was. So it's a better reason to go back in time in this one, than just trying to protect your identity. So I'm glad they used it here instead of using it later. And I think it's one of those things that visually it doesn't make sense because it looks like he's literally spinning the planet backwards.
Yeah.
But from what I've read and and what like Richard Donner has said in interviews, like the intention was just to show that he's going back in time, not that the planet is actually, that the rotation switches. So, but it's a poor visual, to represent time travel. So
yeah, it is.
And it's one of those, like, time travel just doesn't make sense, That it's one of those weird things, like, why does this come into play?
So it's basing it off of the Flash's kind of go fast enough and break the time barrier.
Exactly.
And he just happens to know how to time it, where he can save Lois and nobody else that died during that whole thing. That's weird.
Yeah.
Because
the part that is weird to me is that he goes back in time, and it's like it stops all the destruction.
Yeah, that's...
Then it's like once he comes back to, he comes back to Lois's car door, shouldn't everything still be happening? Like, isn't that,
Yeah,
it's like everything's fine.
That threw me off, because her car was perfectly fine, and didn't look like anything was going on.
Because essentially what should have happened was he would go back in time and pull her out of the car before it got sucked into the ground. But
because something happened, because Jimmy Olsen shows up and starts bitching about
like he was rescued earlier, and then Superman dropped him off, and then I don't know. It doesn't make sense. There actually is no real logic to...
Well, I'm glad you explained a little bit of that visual time travel, because I was trying to figure out how you could... Because just the Earth would have a different time than... it was very confusing.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, if he goes back in time, there should be another Superman,
Yeah, he'll run into his previous
So,
Superman. I don't know, but...
So, time travel is not the best, I guess, plot device or solution for a movie like this. So,
as far as I know, the only people that have mastered time travel are the Canadians. Yeah, because it's still like 1998 there. From what I hear,
right?
They're just getting dial up. That's everyone's got those AOL discs in the mail.
Yep. 800 free minutes.
Yep. Well, there goes our Canada audience.
Damn it.
Anyway.
All right.
So it ends with a happily ever after, I guess.
Yeah, kinda. Superman gets to check in on Lois, and I like that she starts giving him shit like right away, and but I do like that.
Off right away.
Yeah, he flies off, and then they have the moment where, she's got the line about Clark never being around. Starts that trope of someone kind of piecing it together, but, stopping themselves before they say it.
Yeah, like, it can't be Clark. He has glasses.
Right. Yeah. He slouches and has glasses.
His voice. Oh.
His hair is parted on the opposite side.
But yeah.
So then we get the, for me, delivering Lex to the jail. I think I kind of mentioned it earlier. It kind of carries little weight when no one knows who Lex Luthor is. You know. So if it had been like they dropped him off and the warden was like, oh, obviously we were looking for Lex, but he says, who is that? And Lex has to introduce himself. He's bragging on himself being the greatest criminal mind and all that. Yeah. It's like...
Good evening, Warden. I think these two men should be safe here with you now until they can get a fair trial.
Who is it, Superman?
Lex Luthor, the greatest criminal mind of our time.
Of our time?
I hereby serve notice.
He's serving notice to you.
That these walls...
These walls here...
Will you shut up, please, you...
All right, take them away, boys.
Oh, you...
Don't hit me now.
Nitwit.
This country is safe again, Superman. Thanks to you.
No, sir. Don't thank me, Warden. We're all part of the same team.
Shouldn't he have been dropped off at a police station?
You'd think.
Come on,
yeah.
What's up with that Superman?
Yeah.
He's like are automatically throwing him in prison.
Yeah, it's like, have you ever heard of due process?
Apparently he's the judge and jury as well.
That's right.
That's why Batman's got to step up.
Right.
But yeah, it sort of just ends there.
Yeah, we got the scene of, the triumphant kind of moment of Superman flying off, and there's not much else to really say about it. I mean, it's just pure, I don't know.
I was waiting for the mirror Phantom Zone to show up.
Yeah, I guess in the original ending, the Hackensack rocket that he threw out into space would have interacted with the prism, and that's how they would have come out of the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get some of that in Superman 2 with those events.
So yeah, we want to get into, I guess we could do pros and cons first.
Sure. We can start there.
Let's do most heroic, most villainous.
Okay. Sure.
That's a quicker one.
Yeah.
For most heroic, I'll go with Jor-El giving up his son to the Earth.
Okay, that's definitely a contender.
Yeah.
Or, it's definitely up there for...
I don't know if it's heroic, but it's noble.
It is. I mean, he's saving, his son, and, in a sense, he's saving, our planet, Yeah,
he's sending a savior.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's not a bad... I kind of had a hard time with this. It was like it was hard picking one moment,
Yeah.
For me, I just went with what felt the most like Superman, in this movie, what felt the... so I kind of went back to, like, with the music and with the way it was played. Like, I went back to the helicopter rescue from kind of the moment of him actually changing into the costume and, rescuing the helicopter and then it leads up to, he's in Metropolis, he's, out doing good elsewhere, you get the quasi-montage of him, saving other people and all that. So, but kicking that off with the helicopter rescue, for me, was the most heroic.
It was definitely a coming out kind of moment.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Look at me. I can carry a lady in a helicopter.
Right.
No biggie. It was... oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about it, but how they came up with the name Superman.
Oh, yeah. It just dawns on Lois Lane, I guess. Yeah.
Who talks like that? He's a real Superman.
Superman.
She just got on Clark like no more than like 20 minutes ago about using outdated lingo.
Right.
I can't remember what he said. It was like Nito or Keen or something.
Swell.
That's what it was. And she's saying the Superman. Oh,
yeah.
But I thought they would have did something with the S on his, like, what's the S stand for and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't explain. I mean, visually they explain that all the Kryptonians wear a symbol.
Yeah.
And I guess his just happens to look like our, letter S when it's... I think they do a good job with that in Man of Steel, of just explaining that it is just a symbol, but here it looks like, an Earth or a English S or whatever, but it means hope. Now, I don't know if that's from the comics. I think it is. So
yeah, it would be less effective if it was the shape of the letter L.
Yeah.
Just a flying loser in a cape.
Yep.
Okay, so villainous moment, I'll let you take that one.
I was kind of talking about it earlier, just Lex disregarding the Hackensack rocket and just the total disregard, looking at his watch and shaking his head as if to say that, your mother's just gone. Like there's no, she doesn't live there anymore, that kind of moment.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's like in the center of releasing rockets that are, obviously going to cause the destruction of, the death and destruction of millions and all that. But just that one moment, because for everyone else it's a faceless, or it's not personal, but with it being her mother, it's like it's one person detached from him, so it just feels more cold and more evil. So that's mine.
Okay. Yeah, I sort of figured it would be.
Yeah.
For me, I guess it would go with the emphasis on the role of a villain.
Okay.
And his trials that he sets Superman through in the gauntlet. And then the whole cat and mouse thing with looking at the desk and this and that.
Right.
It's either that or it's Superman, because he reacts so violently to Lois Lane's death but could care less about his old man.
Right.
He just leaves him to fall into the gravel and pass away.
Yeah. I guess we didn't even talk about Jonathan Kent dying, but that was it's a good scene,
Yeah, he gives the last bit of wisdom.
Yeah, he gets that, and then just the look on his face when he realizes what's happening, and he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
That is a pretty tough blow.
And then it sort of just goes straight to graveyard.
Right.
So maybe Clark did have rage face, but you couldn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, wow, he wasn't this angry before, was he? But I thought it was mainly the whole Lex toying with Superman was very villainous.
That's a good villain moment, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess pros and cons would be the next step.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you want to start off with cons, I guess?
Sure.
I think it's the harder of the two.
Yeah. I had a harder time. The Weird Action Comics Daily Planet opening, for me, it's strange, and I don't know what purpose it serves. If it had closed with a similar ending, maybe a little bookend, maybe it would have been okay. But I don't get it,
Yeah.
And I'm a comics guy, I read comics, and I don't know what purpose there is in showing something that talks about the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
No,
I understand. I thought it was unnecessary. It was just
right. Yeah. What about you?
Well, obviously, I'm going to go to the other end of the movie and go with the whole time travel world spin.
Okay.
And that whole premise was just odd and kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Anytime they use time travel, I automatically think, they got stuck and couldn't figure out where to go. So let's just go back in time. I don't know. I just hate time travel used like that.
Sure.
It was just thrown in there.
The vague rules of time travel.
Yeah, and it's it's fine if you're doing a time travel movie where you're basing it on that, but to just throw it in there like that out of nowhere.
Right.
Because like I said, I thought he was going after Lex.
Sure.
And I thought he was going to, honestly test whether or not he'd kill a person.
Right.
But, I thought he was going to go over there and pull a new Superman where he breaks his neck or something.
Right.
But, that was the big one.
Okay. The only other one I had was while I love what Gene Hackman does with Lex, we get no character development for Lex. We don't know why he's doing what he's doing other than...
he's the greatest evil mastermind of all time.
Yeah, we're told that. Numerous times we're told that. But
I know. I was like, I don't know if I believe him anymore. He says it too often. He surrounds himself by idiots.
Yeah. So I could have used a little bit of development for his character.
It's not clear where he gets his money from.
Yeah, the money. Why is he underground?
I guess he's a con artist it's what we can assume. He's just smart and outsmarting people and stealing their money. I don't know.
Sure.
Either that or he's really good at the stock market.
Right. Or family money.
One of the most evil organizations.
Yeah.
I think my other one would be... it was just in my head. That's annoying. Because I really didn't have another one. I was just thinking about it. Well,
oh, sure. Sometimes you just don't have many that stand out.
Yeah, I think I just got... Oh, now I remember. I'd say a big one was the little girl getting beat by her mom. And,
the throwaway child abuse moment.
And random child nudity. I was just like, man, somebody doesn't like kids in this movie, I don't think.
Right.
But, it was definitely the kid getting beat for telling a story.
Yeah, that is a weird one.
It was jarring.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, wait, what the hell? That's why I had to ask you if you heard the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, was that a noise that just was random? Or did that really go down as I thought it would?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was just, why was it there?
No, I don't know. Like I said, unless it's just there to show us the difference in times, like,
I guess.
Maybe it's like Superman saves her cat, but he can't save all, or can't, fix all the problems, or, I don't know. It's bizarre.
All right. So, did you have any more cons?
No.
Then, I guess we'll step into the world of pros.
Let's do it.
I'd have to say that the visual effect of his flight was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that was one of those I had written down in my, like, what holds up.
Yeah.
Most of the flying holds up.
Yeah, I'm not going to say all of it, but...
No. Some of it's, but no, for the most part, it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, it's not what it is today, obviously, but it's also not what the original show had either, where he's jumping off a trampoline or flying backwards.
or just having a cartoon fly off.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's like a cell from a animated strip that they just move across the screen. Oh, I completely forgot about that damn scene. And I meant the actual dam, not...
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a play on words.
Oh, wow. 2 dam scenes in the same...
That's true, yeah.
Wow.
Huh. They like the damn scenes.
I guess so. Hell, damn it all. All right.
So my first pro is just performances by Reeve and Hackman. Mm-hmm. I don't need to go into it. I've already talked about it, I think enough that...
Oh, yeah. You basically are just drooling over Christopher Reeve.
Pretty much, yeah.
Can't blame you.
Yeah.
Did a good job.
Totally.
Oh, yeah, you want to include Otis with that, too, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Just checking. I'd say the other pro would be the, I guess it's the whole gauntlet scene.
Okay.
Like,
you really like that scene.
I just enjoyed watching Superman getting tested, and it didn't look that bad. Like, even the flames, which could be seen kind of hokey. Sure. I mean, it's hard to imagine. It looks
like Christopher Reeve is walking through fire.
Yeah. And then the bullets were...
I like the bullets.
That was really cool with, like, the ricochet sparks, and the freezing scene was probably the weakest of the 3.
Right.
But then he's knocking down the giant vault door.
Yeah. Looks like it's made of putty.
Yeah, so...
Awesome.
I don't know, I just enjoyed that whole sequence.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go with the score. I know you said it sounded a little too Star Wars-y, but for me, I almost think I like some of this music better than I like some of the Star Wars music, because I can listen to this, and if I'm listening to it in the car, wherever, I get chills, I feel like it's uplifting, and it's powerful,
Yeah.
That's this score, and there's a couple songs or themes that aren't great, but it's those big ones, the main ones. When you see Krypton first revealed, kind of that score. When you see Superman for the first time, a couple of those moments or those themes just.
Oh
yeah.
See that.
They're just perfect for you. It's iconic,
Yeah.
There's a reason that in our musical intro it starts with that trumpet blast of the Superman score. So
Yeah, and it could have been so much worse given the time frame of this movie.
Sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the 70s.
It's the late 70s, so it could have gone a really bad route.
They could have gone with, like, Shirley Bassey singing, Superman!
He's a
The
Superman.
man with the plan!
He's a Superman.
Yeah, so...
He's mighty. Just letting it all hang out. Because baby Superman did. Oh, good Lord.
You need to move on.
I can't. It was just so freaking weird. It's just... A little warning would have been nice. It's just like, what the hell did I just see?
Right.
Okay, moving on. I think it's taken over my... Well, ironically, it's taken over Spaceballs for me. As far as how much I'm bringing it up.
Right, yeah.
Jeez. So, I'm trying to think of... I gotta rethink because you used some of my pros.
Well, you can have the same pros.
Yeah, I mean... I guess... I kind of... Well, actually, I thoroughly enjoyed the pool scene where he brings him his robe in the water,
yes.
and then it cuts like him preparing Alexa's wigs.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's when I knew he had all these wigs. And I was like,
right.
Oh, that's why he's got hair. And and I love the fact that he's got all these disguised wigs for different occasions. Like he's like a Barbie doll.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's ambulance driver Lex. It's it's big rig truck driving Lex.
It's flight attendant Lex.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just enjoyed that little piece.
Yeah, all the Lex Otis, stuff is great. Even and the Miss Tessmacher, the three of them are just so fun.
They're basically the Three Stooges.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Lex is Mo, Curly is Otis, and I guess Larry is Tessmacher.
Right.
So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. My last pro would just be the interview scene with Lois and Superman. I get why that's like the benchmark for Lois and Clark. As far as auditions and performance and just that dynamic and that's just one of those standout scenes for me. So.
Well, what is it? It's kind of weird because this movie has like two meet cutes.
Yeah.
And it's because of that you get that awkward scene where Clark shows up after the interview.
I love that moment.
Where he has to figure out, okay, which is the real, like, how am I going to deal with this? Because Clark seems to have a date with her.
Yeah.
Then he basically cockblocks himself.
Right. He knows that he can't compete with himself.
Yeah. So he's the worst wingman.
Yeah.
And he's doing it to himself. So
right.
I think he's struggling with that in that moment. He's like, oh, great, I was so charming. Now Clark's got no chance.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's an odd, unique moment that he has to deal with. And I thought he did a great job with it.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
Okay. I don't think I have any more notes on the movie itself, so I'm ready to rate this. And
alrighty, let's see. It's a tough one.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna give this one. It's so hard. I gotta give it like a 4.
Okay.
Out of 5, just because the pacing of this movie was bizarre to me.
Sure.
And it, like I mentioned earlier, it seemed like I was watching different movies.
Right.
You had like action, you had slapstick, you had then you had the movie about the origin, you had the weird in between teenage years segment, intermission, and then you got the main event movie. So the pacing of it was just odd to me, and they jammed a lot into it.
Sure.
So I think it just was kind of I don't know. It was just kind of weird to follow how it kept jumping around.
Okay.
And, here goes 3 years, here goes 12 years, here goes... I don't know. It was... but, I mean, I really liked it. I don't want to say I didn't. It's just...
Sure.
Yeah, and then the whole time travel thing kind of brought it down for me, so I couldn't really go any higher than a 4, I think. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that, some good points. I can see why, the ending is enough, is jarring enough to, it's a lot of good build-up, for an ending that's kind of ambiguous and all that. And,
it was like, what was the point of all that if he's just going to time travel?
Right, yeah. So you think you can solve every problem,
Yeah, he could, essentially.
Yeah.
He'd be like, oh, this is... Okay, I'll just fly around and stop Lex from launching the missiles.
Right, yeah. Like, why not go a little further?
I don't know. It was just interesting that it was almost like his rage gave him the knowledge to time travel. That's
right.
Like, how did he know to do that?
I don't know. I mean, earlier, one of the first things that we hear Jor-El tell him is that he cannot interfere with human history. So it must be it's telegraphed or foreshadowed enough that it must be something they're kind of aware that they can do.
Yeah.
I guess.
See, I thought it just meant like you don't mess with like big historical events.
Oh, like in the present.
In the present, but it would mess up like how Earth evolves.
Right.
Because he's, constantly saving them from themselves, or
sure.
So they're like using him as a crutch, or
gotcha.
I don't know. That's how I thought of it. I didn't.
Okay.
At no point did I think time travel.
Yeah, I think knowing how it all leads up to that, I think it's really heavy-handed to say don't mess with human history, and don't literally don't go into the past, So
yeah, I was like, wow.
Because if they hadn't said that, it's like, is that even a consideration? Like, is that something that we need to be on the lookout for?
What if it is? I mean, man, you could do a lot of good.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? Time's so fickle.
Right.
But yeah, so a 4.
Yeah, no, that's a totally solid rating. So, I had a hard time with this one. Like, leading up to actually watching the movie, I was nervous because, over the last couple, easily the last year, the last 2 years maybe, with all the lead up to Batman v Superman, these original Superman movies have been talked about a lot. And a lot of what I've, been hearing on other podcasts or wherever is how these movies don't hold up and how, it's kind of the same thing that they did with, when Batman 89 came out, everyone trashed the 66 series, and when the Nolan Batman movies came out, everyone was bashing the Burton Schumacher movies. It's like I kind of got the impression that with the new Zack Snyder movies, everyone's kind of picking apart the original Donner Superman movie. So it was, and when you read articles and you hear other people talk about these movies and talking about the time travel and how the performances are cheesy and Lex is hamming it up and chewing the scenery, and so there was enough of that I was worried about going into this critically, because I didn't want to just pick it apart and I didn't want to see the flaws, or I was worried that I would have a hard time with it because of that. But with that all being said, once I started watching it, I just slipped back into being a kid and watching this movie, and feeling, overwhelmingly like uplifted and hopeful, and the message of just of what Superman represents is really strong in this movie.
Well, he says it: truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah, and it was really weird. At the end of this movie, I got a strong memory of being a kid, and when he is flying around the world literally at the end of the movie, he's out in space, flying around the world, and he smiles at the camera. I remember being a kid and thinking Superman is smiling at me, and that's just one of those memories that I'll always have now. And that's how I feel when I watch this movie, and I feel like Christopher Reeve is Superman, and he is smiling at me. I can't not give this movie a 5 because of just moments like that. The Jonathan Kent moments, some of the Jor-El moments, the music, all of that is enough to make me. I can just shrug off the time travel aspect of it. It's not perfect, but I don't care. At the end of it, he saved the day. And that's what. It's
yeah.
So I give it a 5. But a 4.5 for the two of us. That's I'm happy with that.
Yeah, and it's hard to not take into account personal impact.
Yeah,
from the first time you watched it. I mean, everyone is everyone's views are kind of tainted by when they saw it originally.
Right, and and even watching it critically, and like I said, I fell back into it, like I said, but I was still able to. I enjoyed watching this movie. The humor was there, all the Otis stuff, it works. It may not be a good performance critically, but it's fun as hell.
Oh, yeah.
It brought a smile to my face. So, and just the Lex performance, it's,
I can see the worry you had because
the
'66 Batman was fun Batman, and this is the fun Superman for the most part.
Right.
And then, it gets darker with Burton and Snyder, so it makes it look even weirder with Adam West. And now you had Man of Steel and now the new one that's even darker. It's pretty soon we're just going to be watching a black screen at some point.
I know.
So I could see your worry because it's going to make it look campy.
Right.
And
I didn't think
that either.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still a fun Batman. It wasn't like a serious, heavy movie, but I don't know. It was kind of like the way that they wrapped it up was almost like it was a TV show.
Sure.
It was just nice and neat.
Yeah.
Lex is in jail now. Everything's right.
Yeah, they kind of joke with Jimmy and Lois, and he flies off, and
it's a very happy-go-lucky ending.
Yeah,
regardless of how they got to that ending.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the worry on that, but I agree. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I was looking forward to it.
Good.
So yeah, I just couldn't overlook certain things. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, I
didn't have that.
I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, I just didn't have that same moment you had. So
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, so go out and see it, people.
Yeah.
Let us know if you think it looks like crap because you're a young punky and you don't understand nothing.
And that's probably a big part of it to a younger audience that didn't maybe grow up with it.
Yeah.
And obviously, I didn't grow up with it. I mean, it was
well, you did on reruns.
Yeah. So I guess a kid from today's age could grow up with it the same way I did. So.
They're all on the YouTube now.
Yeah.
Dude.
And it's so everyone's probably heard enough about the ending of it,
Probably. Although I forgot that it was this one that did that.
Sure.
I couldn't remember which one was which.
Yeah. And I think, 3 and 4 kind of, the first two are kind of guilty by association. They're, lumped in with those, the perception is those number 3 and 4 are so bad that 1 and 2 must also be, pretty bad. So
is 2 the one with the super breath?
I think so. I think he uses his.
I can't wait to see that because I remembered a guy on roller skates getting
maybe
blown away.
Yeah, maybe.
I gotta see how that holds up.
Okay.
I just remembered that.
Nice.
Yeah. So go out and see it. Tell us if you think we're stupid old people or if it's still okay.
Yeah, I would love to get some other people's reactions. Because I think there are people out there that will legitimately not like this movie or don't think it holds up, and And they're not wrong, maybe, for them it's there's legitimate reasons why this movie wouldn't hold up necessarily, but...
Well, yeah, but you gotta sort of take that into consideration when watching a movie from a different era.
Right.
You can't just go into a 1970s movie and think it's gonna look, even going to the 90s, it looks awful.
Yeah.
Oof. You got two movies like Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park and The Matrix are the only ones that people cannot just vomit while watching.
Yeah.
Computer graphics.
Totally.
I'm just going to look up Superman on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Superman the movie, maybe?
Yeah, it is called,
Huh,
officially called Superman the movie.
Weird. I'm not seeing it yet. Stupid Superman Dawn of Justice meets the Incredible Batman came up. God, that is a ridiculously long title.
I know.
I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
Movie makers nowadays with their long titles. There you are. 93%.
Wow.
Yeah. Man of Steel had
60?
Let me see that. 56% Man of Steel.
56? Yeah. Wow.
And currently Batman vs. Superman has 34%.
Don't tell me that. I'm going to go see it Friday. She's got the day off work for Good Friday, and I went ahead and took the day off, and we got tickets, and so in a couple of days, this episode will come out after that, but yeah, I'll be seeing it in a few days, and I'm excited about Ben Affleck as Batman. He looks amazing as Batman, so I'm excited about Wonder Woman. I need to rewatch Man of Steel now that I'm a couple of days away from seeing Dawn of Justice. So
it was not received well.
Well,
the critics probably.
Right. Yeah. I'm not too worried about what they think about it. So
I'll click on Man of Steel, see if it breaks it down real quick. Okay. Yeah, because it's 56 for the critics and 76 for the moviegoer.
Okay.
So that's not quite as bad.
Yeah.
But that means it's 93% for the critics on this one.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't see too many that high for a superhero movie. Yeah, it's 93 for the critics and it's 86 for moviegoers.
Okay.
Superman 78.
Gotcha.
But, yeah. So, what do we got next on our Nerdapalooza?
Next on the list is Captain America TV movie from 1979, which I actually have. Got the DVD for it, and it was like a 2-pack with this and Captain America 2, also from 1979, but like a couple months apart. So we've got Captain America, and then we've got Alien, and then Moonraker. So
wow, I'm enjoying this now that we're not watching Bond and Ape and Bond.
Yeah,
it's kind of getting to a fun variety.
Yeah, good. So yeah, if I'll have to find a way to get this Captain America, disc to you.
Is it on VHS?
Yeah. No, I got it like right after we started this podcast, and we were working on the list of movies. I knew of this movie, and I happened to be in a Walmart, which I'm never, at Walmart, and I look in the $5 DVD bin, and it's like Captain America 2-pack, both of these movies for like $5 or whatever it is for a.
Cool.
So yeah.
Alrighty then.
So yeah, that we'll do that one next, and then then after that we've got Alien, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen Alien in a long time. That'll do it for this Superman fantastical episode.
Oh yeah, I'm yeah.
We're gonna come down a notch with with the Captain America movie.
Probably, we might be able to find some fun,
Yeah, it's
some fun
as far as quality.
Yeah, and it's around that same era of the Incredible Hulk TV show and the Amazing Spider-Man TV show, which I remember some of that and the production value. So some of that's kind of cheesy fun, So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what this Captain America movie is like. Because I've never watched it. Like, I bought it because it was on our list, and I saved it,
Cool.
So should be interesting.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Well, before we actually get out of here, I wanted to talk real quick about just some of our interactions on Twitter. We've got an iTunes review from the Monday Night Carlo podcast. The host of that show, I think his name's Carl. He went on iTunes for us and gave our show a review. Unfortunately, because he's in the UK, I think there's a UK iTunes store and there's a US iTunes store, so I'm like unable to see what see what kind of rating he gave us. He, contacted me on Twitter and said, "Hey, I left you a review," so I'm assuming it's positive. Hopefully it wasn't like, "Hey, you guys suck," and I'm gonna make sure you know. So,
that'd be awesome if that's what it was.
So I'm assuming we have a positive, rating on iTunes, so that's kind of nice. Aside from just that, we've got some. I've been interacting with it's called Podern Family. And it's kind of a community on Twitter of podcasters, and it's just a good way to cross-promote each other's shows, and, it's a very supportive community of podcasters. It's like, that's one of the things I love about listening to podcasts and now being a part of it is how, no one seems to compete with each other. It's not... listen to our show because we talk about comic book movies and don't listen to this other show. So, it's all, everyone promotes each other, and that's part of what this Podern, it's like hashtag Podern Family. And kind of when you're in part of that group, we've got some people that have reached out to us and shared our show on Twitter. And so I just kind of wanted to give some shout outs to Open All Powers. They're a show in the UK. And they talk about TV, movie, comics, and kind of similar things, similar genre kind of than what we're into. There's the Drunken Dork podcast. They're a lot of fun. They talk about pop culture and film. The Epic Film Guys. They're gonna obviously talk about films and
it's epic.
And it's epic. And like I said, the Monday Night Carlo. He's got a good show. He talks about, he gets interviews with actors, voiceover actors. One I listened to of his was he interviewed Brian O'Halloran, who played Dante in Clerks 2, and all the kind of Kevin Smith movies. Yeah. And then there's No Time for Heroics, and they do a show not similar to our show, but similar topic to our show. They're going through some of the same movies that we're doing, so it's kind of interesting to kind of see. Unfortunately, I can't listen to all of their shows because I don't want to listen to their, if it's a movie that's about the same movie that we're about to do, I don't want to listen to theirs, and I don't want to steal their content or their ideas. So yeah. I tend to listen to their show after we've done the same movie, but they're not doing any of the Bond movies and stuff, so they're sticking to strictly, comic book based stuff. So, but they're definitely a good one to check out. So I just wanted to, kind of give those guys shout outs and,
share the love.
Yeah. So we're getting some good traction on Twitter. That's kind of probably our best, most shared as far as the social networks go. So
we're huge in the UK.
Yeah.
Nobody here likes us. We're moving. Yep. We're moving.
That's right.
Indiana, United Kingdom, same thing.
Right.
Roughly the same shape.
About the same size.
Just squish it around.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
So you want to just close it up with where to find us, as you were talking about Twitter?
Yeah. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those places. We're at Real Comic Heroes. The show's available on iTunes and Stitcher and whatever other podcast app. I think we're available on pretty much all of them. If we're not, let us know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'll let us know if you can't hear this, but send out smoke signals.
Just go around. You listen to us now on iTunes. Go to every other pod app. And then
do your part,
That's the only way it's going to work, I think.
Right.
I didn't even think about it when you were saying it.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it makes sense to me.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll be back with some Captain America TV action fun.
Yeah, just called Captain America. It was a TV movie, but, because we had access to it, I figured we'd keep it on the list, and it'll be a nice little diversion, so.
Cool. All right. I guess until next time, then.
Yeah.
All right. Out.
Your father developed and perfected the ultimate steroid. He called it FLAG, full latent ability gain.
He injected himself with the serum, and it worked.
A top-secret serum gave Steve Rogers superpowers. Now he can use them to save a city from a madman with a bomb.
Finished.
If he accepts the challenge.
Be Captain America, Steve.
Starring Len Berman, Heather Menzies, Steve Forrest, and Reb Brown as the star-spangled superhero Captain America.